Hi, this is Steve Martinson, President of Miracle Comics. This week, I would like to talk about the 10-point grading scale that CGC adopted from the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide. And just so happens I have some examples of 10.0 down to 9.2 graded comics. First book is a modern book, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. It received a 10.0, which I submit a lot of books to CGC, and out of maybe, I would say 2,000 books, maybe I'll receive one 10.0, and it is usually a book that is on the newer side. As you can tell, if you were to get close, and you would see the razor sharp corners, no spine flaws, perfect staples, just generally just your perfect comic. And then in comparison, the cover B for the same title has Storm Shadow on it. I hope I said the other one was Snake Eyes, but the black character was Snake Eyes. Storm Shadow graded a 9.9. To the naked eye, it's really difficult to tell the difference. Frankly, I think it's difficult to tell the difference between a 9.8 and a 10. I think the only difference might be a very minor spine stress is allowed with a 9.8. So this is the 9.9 example. Nothing particular notable about that comic. 10.0s and 9.9s don't generally, I mean, some books, depending on how important they are, will sell for a premium. These may sell at more of a 9.8 price because they're not particularly notable, although there are collectors that just collect 10.0s. And hopefully they'll bring the prices up. Batman 556 is the 9.8 example that I have this week. This is actually the first full appearance of Batman's son Damian. 655, especially the variant cover, gets a lot of the value as being the very first appearance of Damian. This book, though, actually has, it's kind of like Wolverine 180 versus 181, where 181 has the full appearance of Wolverine. Now here's a 9.6 copy of She-Hulk, number 14. If you were to look fairly close here, you could see some, it's not called staining, but there's a little bit of printing defect on there, which I think brought it down from a 9.8 to a 9.6. Another thing to note about this issue is that it's a pedigree comic, which means the comic was owned by a famous person, and in this case it was Don Rosa, who was well known for drawing Disney comics. The 9.4 example that I'd like to talk about is Forbidden Tales of Dark Mansion, number 7. Great Michael Kaluta cover. Michael Kaluta, very famous in the 70s for lots of his horror, and especially the Shadow series of comics. Looking at this book, trying to find flaws. Again, very small, noticeable, barely noticeable flaws from a 9.4 to even a 10.0. In this case, there's some rounded corners on the top and the bottom of near the spine. It's miscut slightly on the right hand side here. There's a couple of spine stresses, and as you can hear from the Peanut Gallery, she prefers the higher grade comics. Right, Sally? Last comic I have to talk about is the X-Force number 11. This is a 9.2 example. This is the first appearance of the real Domino, who's going to appear in the new movie coming out, and this is one of Deadpool's early covers. I know with this book, because I remember it before I sent it in, that it had some significant spine stress. At first glance, and probably from the camera, you're not able to see some of the wear. If you hold it up to the light, you can catch a little bit of the spine stress, although also more notable on the back cover. And one note that collectors should realize is when they submit CGC comics, CGC considers the front and back cover equal in terms of grading. So just because you have a really nice front cover and you have an imperfection on the back cover, it'll grade down. Thanks so much for listening, and happy collecting. These books are on sale on eBay this week. Check them out on our website, miraclecomics.com. We'll see you next time.